Hello everyone. This story is about, what if Naruto and Temari had a political marriage after the failed Suna invasion? Desperate to keep their alliance with Konoha, the Suna council decides to offer Temari's hand in marriage to none other than Naruto, after realizing who he is. Hope you enjoy the story, and as always, please like, share and subscribe for more. Now let's start. Oh, don't be like that, Temari chided a sulking Naruto at the breakfast table. It wasn't that bad. One would think you didn't like attention from cute girls or something. Naruto crossed his arms and maintained a dignified silence. It certainly wasn't a pout. Okay, it was a pout, but the girls crossed the line the night before. Grudgingly he admitted that the nurse outfits had been interesting, but that was the rebellious part of his mind talking, and he was ignoring it. Temari watched the play of emotions across his face and smirked in amusement. Casually sliding her robe open a bit, she leaned across the table towards him and lowered her voice to a husky murmur. Naruto, I get all sad when you ignore me. Batting her eyes and pouting her lips out, she gave him her best, sad face. Won't you talk to me? Naruto stared at her in stunned disbelief before he focused on the exposed cleavage. Mentally smacking himself and cursing his perverted instructors for corrupting him, he forced himself to meet her gaze. Please stop, that's creepy as hell. Not exactly what he'd been intending to say, and most definitely a mistake. Straightening up and tugging her robe closed, Temari's eyes screamed murder at her husband. Creepy, is it? She said in a dangerous tone. I'll have to remember that in the future, she promised, eyes now firmly stating that such a future would be bleak. Naruto sighed and raised a hand to rub his temple wearily. It's not that you aren't beautiful or cute, Temari-chan, he tried to explain. And I'm not saying that I don't like when you flirt with me, but you're my tough, hard-as-nails kunoichi wife, and you were making faces like the fangirls used to do to Sasuke. It really creeped me out. Temari relaxed her offended posture. That made a lot more sense than his first statement, or rather was more informative. Naruto, I would advise you to use the latter explanation and avoid the previous one in the future. You came very, very close to the couch for that. She paused a moment and thought. Still, it's good to know. I would really hate to do anything those worthless fangirls would do. Yeah, you're right, Naruto said with a yawn. Sorry, but I'm a bit tired this morning. Took me about half the night to get out of those bandages. Yeah, it was fun, Temari said with a dreamy look in her eyes as she remembered her and the girls wrapping him head to toe in bandages. Says you, Naruto retorted without much heat in it. I had a few little cuts and some burns. One little medical jutsu would have solved the problem. Hell, left alone they would have been gone in a few hours. You girls just enjoyed teasing me. Yeah, it was fun, Temari repeated with a sly grin. Still, it's not like you didn't enjoy some of it. I noticed your complaints died off when Ino suggested we change into nurse uniforms. Mostly, 'cause by that time one of you had wrapped my mouth shut, Naruto said rolling his eyes. Reminds me, would someone please remind Tenten that kunai are not used as medical tools. If I hadn't distracted her with that picture of Niji in an orange speedo, I think I might have died. Temari snorted as she tried to hold back a laugh. Why did you have that picture anyway? Naruto scratched the back of his head and grinned sheepishly. Well, it's me in a henge, but I was gonna use it in a prank on Niji. I haven't forgiven him for the whole Koyuki thing, but I never seem to see him anymore. Didn't you already get him back for that? Temari asked confused. I remember something about orange Niji or something. Well, yeah, Naruto admitted. That was just the start. He dared to prank me, and I intend to show him why that was a bad idea, muhahaha. Temari reached across the table and bopped him on the head lightly. No, bad Naruto. No starting prank wars with other clans. Naruto rubbed his head and his eyes teared up. But he pranked me, he whined. Temari rolled her eyes. Yes, the mean little Niji pranked you, you pranked him back. It's done alright? Fine, Naruto pouted. I suppose I can let it go this one time. Temari patted his head. Good boy. Her attitude became more serious. Did you remember to return those scrolls? Naruto shuddered. Yeah, I sent them out with a clone this morning. Still not sure how the hell Bachan knew I took them. Temari shrugged, she had some ideas, but they were only suspicions so they weren't worth bringing up. What she really wanted to know was why the hell Naruto had stolen them in the first place. What, was she just supposed to ask him straight out? She mentally smacked herself. It was Naruto, of course she should. Naruto, why did you steal scrolls anyway? We have a copy of most jutsu here, so I know it wasn't that. I didn't steal them, Naruto replied. I just, borrowed them for a bit without telling anyone. Also known as stealing, Temari pointed out dryly. Hey, do I point out all the flaws with what you say? Naruto asked, trying to maneuver the conversation away from the scrolls. Yes, and you're changing the subject. Well, I would really like to know. I won't press you on it, just tell me you don't want to tell me. Naruto eyed her skeptically. Yeah, he really didn't believe there would be no consequences for not telling her. This had to be one of those sneaky woman tricks, but he wasn't sure he didn't want to tell her. It was just that this was his problem, though reflecting on it further, Danzo was her problem as well. Well, I told you yesterday, I attempted to direct Sasuke against Danzo. Those files were evidence from the Kyuubi attack as well as from the Uchiha massacre. If you read them with a certain mindset or have someone slanting the way you see them, they scream Danzo's involvement. Temari's eyes widened in shock. Was he? Was he really involved in both? Naruto scowled at the table, his fists clenched in anger. For the Uchiha, absolutely. Dad wrote that the man will go to any extreme to protect the village, though his methods are more likely to destroy it. I don't know what happened exactly, but the cleanup and all the bodies missing their eyes just screams his involvement. Naruto relaxed and shrugged at his wife. I just don't see Sandangiji authorizing something like the death of a clan without someone else pushing for it hard. That's rather disturbing, Temari admitted. I think I get what you were telling me about him being dangerous though. If he was willing to wipe out a founding clan, I don't think he'd even hesitate to move against us. Nah, Naruto said with a grin. I pretty much got the old bastard in a stalemate right now. I'm not strong enough to kill him and he won't kill the village Jinchuriki without another option. We can't really move against each other directly, but I fully expect him to use proxies against me. Temari nodded her understanding. And so you started sending your own against him. I don't have to remind you to be careful with this, right? Naruto shook his head and got up from his chair to cross behind Temari. Draping his arms over his shoulders, he lay his hands on her protruding stomach and nuzzled her neck. I'm being careful, Temari-chan, but the man is a threat to our family. I may not be able to deal with him like I would most threats, but I won't stand back and be defensive either. Temari shivered at the determination in his voice and the nuzzling of her neck. She leaned back against him and relaxed. She really liked this side of her husband. He could be pretty cool when he wasn't being a spaz, and in a few years, he was going to be one hell of a man. Especially if she was around to keep him focused. Now, if she could just find a way to keep him from becoming as perverted as both of his sensei. A little perverted was good, a girl likes a little spice, but Kakashi was bad. The less said about Erosenin, the better. As much as I'm enjoying this, don't you have an appointment for this morning? She reminded him before he started something he didn't have time for. Don't want to go, he complained against the side of her neck. The old hag probably just wants to yell at me or something. Temari chuckled and patted his hands. Maybe, she chuckled. Still, you'd better go see what she wants, cause pissing her off more would be bad, right? Naruto sighed and leaned forward a bit to kiss Temari's cheek. Probably, he admitted. Still don't want to go. Comfortable. Temari tilted her head at him. Naruto, she scolded. Fine, I'm going, he said reluctantly, straightening up. Oh, wait a moment, Temari said, holding up a hand and moving over to the hallway closet. The shopaholic and I picked you up some things yesterday, and I think you should wear them today. Naruto eyed the bag like it was diseased. New clothes? But I like my clothes just fine. Temari stared at him and pulled out a burnt orange jacket with a black flame pattern on the bottom edge. Holding it out, she grinned triumphantly at his expression. I admit, that is really cool, he said, eyes locked on the jacket. It honors my father without trying to make me a copy of him. And it's orange. Temari just grinned at him and showed him the back where a white Uzumaki swirl stood out against the dark orange. Can't honor one without the other, right, Naruto? Naruto gulped a lump from his throat and wiped a few tears from his eyes. That was an incredibly thoughtful gift on Temari's part. So, what's the catch? Temari gave him an innocent look. Why, whatever do you mean, dear husband? Naruto rolled his eyes in fond exasperation. Please, you're bribing me. So what's the rest of it? It's not purple, is it? You and Ino-chan seem really fond of that color. Nothing wrong with purple, Temari declared, hand on her hip. But no, we both knew you would never wear it and that would make this pointless. Naruto said noncommittally. So, what did you get? Reaching down into the bag, Temari pulled out a long-sleeved black turtleneck, trimmed with burnt orange, matching the coat on the neck and sleeve cuffs. Heartened by his lack of rejection, she produced the pants to go with. They were also black, but had 3 thin strips of burnt orange running down the outside of each leg. So, what do you think? She asked. Naruto moved forward to finger the cloth. Honestly, it looks really good, but why buy me a new outfit? I haven't had the one I'm wearing for all that long. Well, first, you'll look really good in this, Temari answered. Second, this outfit will allow you to wear your chunin vest. Naruto scrunched up his face. Meh, I don't like wearing it. Temari's eyes flickered and a look of irritation spread across her face. Naruto, those vests aren't just a status symbol. They are designed to deflect blows away from vital areas. Given the way every mission you go on turns into a shitstorm, you need the armor. But it's uncomfortable, Naruto whined. It's all stiff and limits how I move. The flickering in her eyes flared up into a rage. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, she roared, ignoring the way he flinched away in shock. You are a shinobi. She reached forward and yanked one of his hands against her stomach. You have responsibilities. In the face of those things, you will ignore discomfort as the meaningless thing it is. You aren't some stupid genin now, blindly charging into everything. You have to take every advantage you can to come home. I don't care if you have to hold an entire city hostage. Your job is to finish the mission and come home to me, is that clear? Naruto backed away from her when she released his hand, his face working as he tried to process being screamed at by a woman who told him she loved him. It was difficult to process, and he had an overwhelming urge to escape and give himself time to think. I gotta go, he muttered. I'm gonna be late. With a last look at a furious Temari, Naruto headed out of the house at top speed. As he made his way to the Hokage Tower, he tried to make sense of what had just happened. Seeing her husband fleeing from her hurt Temari more than she would like to admit, but this wasn't a confrontation she was willing to back down from. Well, that could have gone better, she murmured to herself. She heaved a sigh as she went to get dressed for the day. Why was her husband so stubborn about the stupidest things? Approaching the tower, Naruto paused a moment to consider his choices. There was the door, so plebeian, so ordinary, so not Bachan offending. Then there was the window, the choice of his mentors, and a style statement. Really, when he looked at it, there was only one choice to make. Hopping into the Hokage's office through the window, Naruto smirked as he called out. Yo Bachan, you called? He froze when she glowered at him and he realized that there was someone else in the office with them. Oops, he said sheepishly, rubbing the back of his head. Sorry Hokage-sama, I didn't realize there was anyone here. Tsunade rubbed her temple, trying to massage away a new Naruto-related headache. The little brat had somehow wormed his way into her heart and she viewed him as something like a cross between a brother and a son, but damned if he didn't drive her to drink. Nice of you to join us, Gaki, she retorted. Are you trying to take after Kakashi? Because if you are, I promise a great deal of pain in your future. Naruto snorted and crossed his arms defiantly. Says the woman who gave the kunoichi free rein to torment me. And no, I was held up with trouble at home. Unlike Kakashi-sensei, I don't think I can get away with being late all the time. Yet. I could have done without the qualifier, but since you are here now, let's get down to business. She waved a hand at her visitor. You already know Shikaku. What you may not know is that he is the Jonin commander and chief strategist as well as head of the Nara clan. Hi, Naruto said, waving at the man. I didn't know all that, but I can understand the chief strategist part. I was Shikamaru's classmate. He paused and a small smile appeared on his face. Drives him nuts when I beat him at shogi. Shikaku perked up at that and studied Naruto intently. You beat Shikamaru, huh? Care for a game then? Tsunade waved her hand to cut Naruto off before he responded. Work now, torment Naruto later. Shikaku inclined his head in acknowledgement, but he continued to study Naruto with a mischievous glint in his eyes. Naruto sighed and sank into the chair next to Shikaku. I feel the need to borrow something here, but I sense this will be very troublesome. Shikaku bit off a laugh with a snort of amusement, and a small smile even briefly appeared on Tsunade's face before being replaced with her usual frown. Alright, enough of that. We have a council meeting this afternoon and you'll have to brief them on Itachi's warning. Now, obviously some aspects of it are classified, so I want you to report everything to Shikaku and then we will edit it to avoid stirring up trouble with the council. Naruto nodded and proceeded to explain everything in detail, including his observations, to Shikaku, who looked progressively grimmer as the story unfolded. Courteously waiting until Naruto was finished, Shikaku sat back with his eyes closed and let the information settle into organized patterns in his mind. Opening his eyes, he looked at Tsunade curiously. Naruto's observations make a great deal of sense, but is there any proof? Tsunade glared at Naruto, who shrank back in his chair. I'm not sure, best to ask the Gaki here. When I went looking for the files on the Uchiha massacre last night, I found that apparently I had already checked them out. A check of the security seals registered Naruto's chakra signature, though the guards swear it was me. Got something to say, brat? Naruto fidgeted in his chair as he was called out on the carpet, so to speak. Sorry, Bachan, he said, face downcast. I was looking for something to get the team off my back. I knew he was going to seek me out after he found out Itachi visited. Not sure if it worked or not. Tsunade stared at him in disbelief. You gave the avenging Uchiha classified information? As in, no longer a shinobi, loose cannon Uchiha? Seeing Naruto flinch, she took it as an admission of guilt. Naruto. Do you realize how much trouble you could be in? Your actions have consequences, you're not a genin anymore. I know that, Naruto spat, angry at being lectured again. Frankly, I decided it would be a good idea to have the team pointed at a different target. I already got this lecture from Temari-chan this morning. Tsunade narrowed her eyes dangerously. Explain, she commanded. Well, Temari-chan, Naruto started to say, before Tsunade cut him off. No, not that. About the Uchiha. Oh, Naruto said. Well, I sort of met him at Danzo, he mumbled. You did what? Tsunade asked in astonishment. Naruto sighed and repeated himself slower. I sort of aimed him at Danzo. The man has, well, issues, and I thought I'd distract him with the team. Naruto, so help me Kami, if you started a civil war in my village, I will pound you to pulp, heal you then repeat it until I'm satisfied. You are not Hokage yet, you do not get to make decisions regarding the security of the village. She paused to visibly calm herself down. If I didn't need you on duty so badly, I would strip you of your rank and suspend you for this, she stated flatly. It is very fortunate for you that I can't right now, but don't think this means I'm forgiving you. I am extremely disappointed in you. Naruto sank in his chair in resignation. It wasn't that he didn't deserve the response he got, but he was already having a bad day, and this wasn't exactly making him feel better. Still, she seemed to be expecting a response, and he didn't feel like tempting fate. That threat to demote or suspend him didn't sound like an idle threat. I'm sorry, Bachan, he mumbled. I just wanted to protect my family from Danzo. I didn't mean to upset you. Tsunade sighed and dragged her hand down her face. I know that, Naruto, and that was the deciding factor in why I'm not going to demote you. Danzo is extremely dangerous, and you are playing with fire. I don't want to see you hurt, understand? Yeah, I do, Naruto responded quietly. Good, now what happened with Temari this time? Tsunade asked to change the subject. Well, she sort of tore into me, cause I don't want to wear my vest. Told me that I had responsibilities, and that they trumped any discomfort I might have. Tsunade traded a glance with Shikaku, who was silently observing the byplay between the two of them. I'm not seeing a problem, Naruto. Well, she yelled at me about it, Naruto said. She told me that if I have to take a city hostage, I was required to do whatever it took to come home to her alive. That's sort of touching, I guess, but it seems wrong. Shikaku held up his hand to stop Naruto and spoke to Tsunade. Hokage-sama, if I may? Not really having an answer to what was troubling Naruto, Tsunade nodded her assent. Naruto, I think I know some of what's troubling you, the scared man said calmly. Perhaps she was a little extreme when she said that you should take a city hostage, but tell me, are you a shinobi? Getting a nod from Naruto, Shikaku smiled at him. Good, then the first lesson you need to learn as a Chunin shinobi is that there is no such thing as a fair fight. The true art of our craft is to complete a mission and make any fight so one-sided that there isn't even a fight. What your wife was trying to say, I think, was that you need to remember that you have no duty to the enemy, only to your family, friends, and village. He paused to allow his words to sink in. Does that make more sense to you? Naruto nodded. Yeah, a little, he said. It's sort of hard though. All through the academy, we were taught to respect our opponents and to be fair in our dealings. Tsunade sighed and Shikaku groaned. That is a valuable mindset for academy students and for off-duty, Shikaku said. Your Jonin instructor was supposed to install a different combat mindset when you became a genin though. Naruto scowled in irritation. Ah, and Kakashi-sensei strikes again, he muttered bitterly. I'm not sure if he is just lazy or he's just a really bad teacher. He stopped and his scowl lessened. No, he teaches just fine one-on-one, but for the team he just sucked. Tsunade sighed and shook her head. One of the flaws in the genin teams is that few Jonin have ever instructed before. Given his issues, Kakashi should never have been given a team, but there were underlying concerns. Ah, like the team and his eyes, right? Naruto said inquiringly. Among other things, yes, Tsunade confirmed. There was also the issue of finding a Jonin instructor that could handle you if you lost control or tried to defect. My sensei had a great deal of faith in you, but you were still listed as a high flight risk when you were in the academy. Oh, that's just perfect, Naruto said bitterly. So what, if I ran he was supposed to kill me? No, Tsunade replied flatly. He was the only one sensei trusted to bring you back alive under any circumstances. Oh, that's different then, Naruto said mollified slightly. Yes it is, Tsunade stated. Now, if we have the issues covered, perhaps we could continue with the business at hand? Naruto and Shikaku nodded and the three began to hash out how to explain things to the council. Temari spotted her target lounging in a restaurant and stealing her nerve, she wandered in and sat down. Hi, I need your help. Anko picked at her teeth and eyed Temari, curiously. Sure, have a seat, no need to ask or anything, she said sweetly. Temari gave her a confused look. I was under the impression that you preferred a direct approach, was I mistaken? Anko shrugged lazily. No, I do, but one should probably attempt to be polite when asking for help. She paused and considered that statement. Why come to me? No one comes to me for help. Her eyes lit up with a sadistic glee. Oh, do you need someone stabbed? Well no, Temari admitted. She hesitated at actually explaining why she was here. Realizing that she was rapidly losing the Jonin's attention, she decided to simply get it out of the way. I need help with seduction, she said with a sigh. Anko spared a momentary incredulous glance at Temari's prominent stomach before rage flushed her face. First, I think you're doing fine on that, she hissed dangerously. Second, you need help with seduction, and so you came to the snake whore? She pulled out a kunai and began toying with it. Tell me why I shouldn't just gut you now. Temari blanched at the threat. For some reason, today was just not her day. Everyone she spoke to seemed to be taking offense, and in this case, she'd apparently just pissed off one of the most dangerous kunoichi she knew of. I'm sorry, she said slowly, uncertainty in every word. I don't know what you're talking about. I came to ask you for help because of the Konoha kunoichi I've met, you seem to be the only one that dresses to seduce. I truly meant no offense. Anko stashed the kunai away and stared at Temari steadily. You mean that? She asked, an odd tone to her voice. You're not just fucking with me, you actually came to me for help. Temari nodded, afraid that if she said anything, the volatile kunoichi would go off on her again. A mixture of unreadable emotions crossed Anko's face before she began to grin, not the slightly crazy grin she was known for but a softer, more genuine smile. Scooting her chair over next to Temari, she draped her arm over the younger kunoichi's shoulders. So, tell Anko Wanisama what's troubling you. Given your condition, you certainly don't seem to have seduction issues. Temari blushed, but the rapid change of mood did amuse her somewhat. For some reason, this woman reminded her rather strongly of her husband at the moment. Well, this morning I was flirting with my husband. Anko cut her off, her expression serious. Is that normal or do you have a cold marriage? Temari blushed again but gave Anko a smile. No, to my surprise I am not in a cold marriage. My husband can be very playful and he does cater to some of my fantasies sometimes. I don't have any complaints about that. Good to know, Anko said with a lecherous grin. So, you were telling me about this morning? Yeah, so this morning, I was being playful cause he was sulking after we tied him up with medical tape last night. She paused when Anko began to chuckle. What? Hokage-sama gave us younger Kunoichi permission to use him as a medical practice dummy last night. There wasn't anything perverted about it. When Anko cocked an eye at her, she amended her statement. I might have agreed to let the other girls hench into nurse uniforms for it, but that's it, I swear. I'm not judging, Anko said, fighting back laughter. She coughed a few times that sounded suspiciously like kinky to Temari before she blanked her face again. Okay, so what was the problem? I was getting to it, Temari said, a bit exasperated. So, loosened my robe up a bit and leaned forward. Good so far, Anko said, cutting in. I know, now let me finish, Temari huffed. So, I batted my eyelashes at him and did a cute pouty face, and do you know what he said to me? Anko rolled her eyes. That was creepy or something like that, right? Know that it was cree. Wait, how the hell did you know that? Because those are amateur tactics, my dear. Anko replied haughtily. I would expect something like that from an academy student or a fangirl, she said, unknowingly hitting Temari right where it hurt. For us more advanced kunoichi, we use subtlety and innuendo for our weapons. Temari raised an eyebrow and pointed at Anko's clothes. Anko flashed Temari a wide grin and explained. I don't wear these for seduction, I wear these for distraction. Now, class is in session, pay attention, my cute little student. Naruto dragged himself out of the Hokage tower feeling more than a bit drained. After they'd finished hashing out what to tell the council, essentially editing out any mention of Itachi being a loyal leaf shinobi, Shikaku had picked his brain regarding the paperwork he'd swiped. The man had an incredibly detailed mind and he'd dragged facts from Naruto he'd barely paid attention to. Eventually, he'd finished ringing Naruto out and he'd been dismissed as Tsunade and Shikaku had begun discussing contingency plans. This left him with nothing much to do until it was time for the council meeting and a burning desire to not go home yet. Hands in his pockets, Naruto strolled through the market district before he came across an interesting sight. Stopping, he leaned back against a wall and took in the curious sight of Kuratsuchi sitting alone on a bench with a bored expression on her face. He noticed that she seemed rather practiced at ignoring the glares from the general population, though her technique differed from his. She seemed unaware and uncaring, though a certain tightness of her expression gave her away. He mentally debated getting involved before shrugging and making his way over to the girl. Perhaps they could be friends, but even if they couldn't, learning about a potential enemy was not a bad thing. Hey, Naruto said, sliding onto the bench next to her. Kuratsuchi, right? Jerking alert from her half-drowsing state, Kuratsuchi could only stare in astonishment for a moment as her target almost literally plopped into her lap. Mustering up her best, friendly smile, she inclined her head. Yeah, that's me, and you are Naruto Namikaze. Naruto scrunched up his face at that. I suppose, he said grudgingly. It's really Uzumaki Namikaze, but I prefer Uzumaki. Oh, she inquired politely. I would think you would want to take your father's name. It's complicated, Naruto admitted to her. I strongly identify as Uzumaki, but I do wish to honor my father as well. Like I said, complicated. Kuratsuchi grunted in agreement. I think I get it, I am the Sandaime Tsuchikige's granddaughter. Those of use with the bloodlines of Kage will always have some issues with that. Naruto nodded agreeably, though he didn't actually agree. His issue was more that his father had stuck the damn fox in him the day he was born. From what he knew, it wasn't like he'd had much of a choice, but still. Not something he was willing to share, except maybe with Temari-chan. So, I haven't had lunch yet, wanna come along? He offered. Kuratsuchi mentally did a victory dance at the offer. Her target was willing, offering to spend time with her, and the bitch wife of his was nowhere in sight. Perhaps she could make some headway on her primary mission after all. Sure, she said with a smile. I'd like that. Lunch with Kuratsuchi was very odd, Naruto reflected once he'd parted ways with her. It seemed like she was trying, but just about everything she said was underlined with a great personal dislike for Konoha and Leaf Nin. Additionally, she seemed to be very interested in him, and while he would like to chalk it up to her enjoying his personality, he really doubted that was the case. He now really wondered what the hell she was doing here in the village, especially since she apparently despised her fiancé. She hadn't outright said so, of course, but her refusal to even speak about Sasuke was rather telling. Shaking his head, Naruto continued to stroll through the village aimlessly. He should probably head home, but he wasn't really in the mood to deal with Temari-chan yet. He was going to have to apologize if he wanted to avoid the couch, and it was a fair bet he might spend a night there anyway. Temari-chan had some really good points, but the girl could really hold a grudge. Leaving without resolving things probably hadn't been the best of moves, but if he was honest with himself, her yelling at him had frightened him a bit. Intellectually he understood that she was just concerned, but emotionally it was hard for him because of his childhood. Really before Temari and Tsunade he supposed, the only one to actually yell at him because they cared was Irika, and he'd had a hard time dealing with that as well. Still, it wasn't something he couldn't overcome, but he needed some time to steel himself for it. Kuratsuchi headed into the quiet, dismal Uchiha district, greatly conflicted. On one hand, she had her orders, and on the other, she had a nice boy who was kind to her without cause. She wasn't so foolish as to believe he just happened upon her, but unlike others in the village, he hadn't offered even a veiled insult regarding her IWA heritage. Even more interesting, he'd blatantly told her that the damn Yellow Flash hadn't held a grudge against IWA after the war, and he didn't see any need to do so himself. She was worried that if she did comply with her orders, that IWA would be making a very dangerous enemy. Still, orders were orders, especially ones from her grandfather. At this time, she really regretted accepting this mission. "Hey Naruto," a voice called, jerking him from his thoughts. Looking up, he spotted Kiba bounding towards him, Akamaru on his head as normal. "Haven't seen you in forever, dude, how's it going?" Naruto shrugged in response to the question. Not bad I suppose. How about for you and Akamaru?" Akamaru yipped something, causing Kiba to regard Naruto curiously. "We're doing good," he said. "Akamaru though says that he isn't talking to you, but if he was, he would say you owe him a steak." Naruto groaned and palmed his face. Looking directly at Akamaru, he apologized. "Sorry Akamaru, I've been really busy, and I forgot about it. Would you forgive me if I added another one and we went and got it now?" Akamaru yipped something and Kiba laughed. He says that would be acceptable, but that he is disappointed with the delay. "So, why do you owe him a steak anyway?" Naruto chuckled and motioned Kiba to walk with him. "The tournament we did, I bribed him to not get involved." Kiba stopped dead for a moment, his mouth hanging open before he closed it with an audible click and hurried to catch up. "So that's what happened. I really couldn't believe it when he decided to play catch with that ball. I can't believe you had the balls to bribe him, and I can't believe he accepted." Naruto's chuckle turned into a snicker. "I've been told recently that a ninja is supposed to make the fight as unfair as possible, and thinking back, that was my plan with you. I wouldn't worry about him accepting a bribe from someone else, but he knew that I wasn't going to hurt you, or at least not seriously." "Since when can you talk to him?" Kiba retorted. "Last I checked, you aren't in Inuzuka." "Sure," Naruto agreed. "He doesn't have to say anything though. He understands us just fine, and he just wagged his tail when he agreed to my terms." Naruto reached over and ruffled Akamaru's fur, lightly getting a playful growl from the puppy. "Akamaru's pretty smart, and when he grows up, he'll be an awesome ninken." Kiba nodded happily at that. While he had complete faith in his partner, many others couldn't see past the cute puppy. It really lightened his heart that someone else would say something good about his partner like that. Accepting the 2 paper-wrapped steaks Naruto handed over, Kiba continued to tag along. "So, what brings you out and about today?" he asked to break the silence that had fallen between them. "Don't want to go home," Naruto muttered. "I irked Temari-chan this morning, and I'm gonna have to apologize." "I don't know, dude," Kiba said skeptically. "Did you actually do anything you need to apologize for?" "I think women just mess with us, so we apologize even though we didn't do anything wrong sometimes." Naruto laughed pretty hard at that. "Not that you don't have a point, but yeah, I fucked up." "So, what did you actually do?" Kiba asked, curiously. "I didn't listen to her, and she was right," Naruto said, staring along the road. "Then when she got pissed at me, I took off like a coward, 'cause I needed time to think." Kiba whistled softly between his teeth. "Yeah, that would do it. If I tried that with one of the bitches at home, I'm not sure I'd live to see another day." Naruto's eyes narrowed and he wheeled on Kiba, anger almost visibly radiating off him. "Did you just call my wife a bitch?" he asked in a soft, dangerous voice. Kiba shied away from the furious Naruto and racked his brain to figure out what he'd said wrong. It suddenly hit and he waved his hands in front of him defensively. No, that wasn't what I meant at all. You gotta remember that my clan is bound to our partners, and those are dogs. In clan, we refer to the women as bitches and the men as hounds. Naruto eased off the killing intent and looked away from Kiba a bit embarrassed. Sorry, he said roughly. Been having sort of a bad day, didn't mean to subject you to that. Yeah, I can tell, Kiba said cautiously, Akamaru yipping his agreement. Tell you what, if you don't want to go home, why don't you come hang out with me and Akamaru? Got the day off, gonna just relax and unwind. Naruto chuckled. Sounds great, but there is a council meeting this afternoon. Oh man, not again, Kiba moaned. I keep trying to get my mom to take my sister, but she doesn't want to be clan head, so I get dragged along. How the hell do you manage to not go crazy in there anyway? It's so freaking boring. Meh, it's a responsibility, and if I get too jumpy, Temari-chan usually kicks me under the table. She's really great at things like that, which is why I hate arguing with her. Kiba made a whipping motion with accompanying sound effect. Huh, she's got you all trained, doesn't she? He laughed. Naruto gave Kiba a crooked grin. Maybe, but being married has its perks too. Kiba got a dreamy expression on his face, and Naruto snapped his fingers in the other boy's face. Not those perks, Kiba. I mean, it's nice to come home to someone who cares. Seeing the look of confusion on Kiba's face, Naruto sighed. Don't worry about it, just be glad you don't understand. Kiba shrugged. Whatever, dude, he replied. So, you want to hang with us until it's time for the meeting then? Naruto grimaced. I appreciate the offer, but I suppose I really need to get home and grovel a bit. Kiba snickered at the expression on Naruto's face. Sure, have fun with that. If you change your mind, me and Akamaru will be over at that park, by my clan compound. Gotcha, Naruto said before a slight grin crossed his face. See you at the meeting then. Ah, don't remind me, Kiba whined. See you there, I suppose. Taking his leave from Kiba, Naruto headed home and was surprised to find himself alone. He chuckled to himself, all that effort spent preparing himself and Temari wasn't even home. Wandering into the kitchen, he noted that she'd pointedly left his new outfit on the table next to his chunin vest. Yes, very subtle Temari-chan, he chuckled to himself. Noticing a note folded next to the clothes, he picked it up and flipped it open. Naruto, if you're reading this, then you got home before I did. While I don't apologize for anything I said, I do apologize for the tone in which I said it. The amount of danger you stumble into alarms me a great deal, and I do not wish to be a widow. So be aware, I have no intention of backing down on this. Just put on the damn vest. Love, your Sunaheim. Temari Uzumaki Namikaze. Cute, Naruto, though wryly reading the note. Well, I did say I preferred my tough, hard-as-nails kunoichi wife. Seeing she took that seriously. Fingering the new clothes and eyeing the vest with distaste, Naruto sighed heavily. He really didn't want to be ordered to do something, but would it really be that bad to wear the damn vest? Probably, he thought sourly. On the other hand, it wasn't like it was unreasonable for Temari to worry, and the new clothes were pretty cool. Deciding he was just thinking himself in circles, Naruto picked up the pile, including the vest, and went to get changed. After fighting with the damn thing for a few moments, trying to get the stupid stiff thing to be less uncomfortable, Naruto examined the result in the mirror. Grudgingly he admitted that Temari had been right and he really did look good in it, even with the vest. Honestly, he looked like a very serious shinobi, and that was certainly a good thing, right? Hearing someone enter downstairs, Naruto made his way down, prepared to apologize to Temari for how things went in the morning. He was somewhat surprised to find Sakura and not Temari, and he wondered where Temari had gotten off to. If she didn't get home soon, he was going to have to go to the council meeting by himself, and he really didn't want to do that. Sakura dragged herself into the house looking forward to relaxing some after a grueling shift at the hospital. She almost didn't recognize Naruto when he swept into the room, his new coat swirling behind him in his haste. Her jaw dropped, and she did a literal double take as she processed his new look. Shinaro, her inner voice, spoke up in awe. Dear Kami, when did Naruto-kun get so hot? Violently stuffing the voice down as usual, Sakura gave a low playful whistle at him. That's one hell of an outfit, she said honestly. Temari get it for you, it seems to have a bit less orange than what you get yourself. Naruto scowled and rolled his eyes. Yes, apparently Temari-chan and Ino-chan decided I needed a wardrobe change. Still, I can't really say that they didn't pick out some good stuff. If you like it, why don't you look happier, she asked before what he said really sank in. Wait, Temari and Ino picked it out? That seems a bit odd. In order, the damn vest, he said, gesturing at it. Second, apparently Temari-chan decided to seek the services of a shopaholic when selecting these. Not sure why honestly. Sakura said noncommittally. If Naruto couldn't see it, then it sure as hell wasn't her place to enlighten him. Makes sense though. Ino knows the shops around here in and out, and I'm pretty sure Temari doesn't. You look really good in that though, very handsome, but why does the vest bother you so much? Long story, Naruto said shortly. Short version, Temari-chan wants me to wear the vest for protection, and I think it sucks. The conversation got a bit heated. Sakura palmed her face. You pissed her off, didn't you? Oh yeah, Naruto replied dryly. First time I think she's ever actually yelled at me, called me by my full name and everything. Sakura winced. You did patch things up right, cause I am not getting caught in the middle this time. Naruto shrugged and handed her the note from its place on the table. Haven't seen her since I had to go meet with Bachan. Hoping she'll chill out when she sees me wearing this. Sakura read the note and looked up at her old teammate. You know, she said softly. I don't think she was actually mad at you. How do you figure that? Naruto asked in disbelief. Pretty sure she was pissed when I left, you know, the whole yelling at me thing and all. Women show their affection in odd ways sometimes, Sakura replied evenly. The tone of this note is not one of anger though. If she was really pissed, she wouldn't be calling herself your desert princess or referring to herself with her full married name. Obviously I wasn't here for what happened, but I promise you, she wasn't angry when she wrote this. Oh, Naruto replied blankly. That really makes no sense, but I'll take your word for it. He popped a sly grin at her. You would know tsundere women better than I would, after all. Sakura growled and her hands clenched into fists before she realized she was walking straight into his little trap. Lifting her chin haughtily, she looked down her nose at him. I have no idea what you might be referring to, Naruto Baka. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a date with my bed and an overdue nap. Still chuckling over his joke and not having a clue as to how close to home it hit, Naruto waved her towards the stairs. Pleasant dreams, Sakura-chan, and thank you. Sakura gave him a grin and sauntered towards the stairs, exaggerating the sway of her hips just to see if he was paying attention. She'd promised Temari that she wasn't going to make a move on him, but after what happened with Sasuke, it was nice to know someone appreciated her looks. Still, there was something odd about the fact that she was seeking his approval now. She would never have dreamed of it when she was younger, but she'd been an idiot then. Oh, Sakura-chan, he said, causing her to pause at the stairs and look back at him curiously. If you're still interested and Bachan is free after the council meeting, I think I'm ready to do the clan adoption ritual. Are you sure? She asked. There is no big rush and I would prefer you know it inside and out. From what I read, a mistake would be very painful for me. Naruto nodded solemnly. I've had a half-dozen clones studying it since you brought it up. I had another batch practicing drawing out the seals as well. We can wait if you really want, but I'm confident that I know what to do. Sakura gave him a warm smile. Then that's good enough for me. I would be honored to join the clan tonight. My nap suddenly seems more urgent, I want to be fully rested for this. See you tonight, Naruto. Yeah, have a good nap, Sakura-chan. I'll let you know if anything changes. About 10 minutes after Sakura went for her nap, Naruto was pacing nervously in the kitchen. If Temari didn't show in another 5 to 10 minutes, he was going to have to go by himself. Making a face at the thought, he perked up when he heard the front door open, followed by the distinct sound of Temari's fairly heavy footsteps. He was smart enough to never, ever comment on it, but the advanced pregnancy had robbed Temari of a great deal of her agility, so while most shinobi moved near silently, Temari didn't anymore. Temari made her way into the kitchen and was gratified to see Naruto fully dressed in the complete outfit she'd picked out for him, including the vest. Deciding there was no reason to comment on it since he'd obviously seen her point, Temari spread out her arms so that he could inspect her new outfit. Wow, was the first thought Naruto had when Temari walked in and modeled new formal kimono. She'd kept the same basic black one and the burnt orange sash, though that looked a bit silly wrapped around her extended stomach. She'd had 3 burnt orange strips added along the sides of the kimono, matching the ones on his pants. Additionally, she'd changed the inner lining, barely visible around her collar, to the light shade of purple she favored. To top it off, the back was emblazoned with a white Uzumaki swirl to match the one on his coat. Naruto suspected that the kimono was probably reversible, which would allow her to have one kimono that would match his clothes, or would be of her favorite color depending on what she chose to wear it. 4. You look very beautiful, Naruto told her honestly. Temari graced him with a warm smile. And you look very dashing and handsome. And that, Naruto thought to himself as he crossed the room to her side, pretty much made the whole damn day worthwhile. Kami, she's beautiful when she smiles. Bowing and offering her his arm, Naruto smiled at her tenderly. Shall we, my Sunaheim? Temari laughed lightly and accepted the offered arm. Leaning up against him, she bent slightly to rest her head against his. Rather stay at home and snuggle, but duty calls, I suppose. Naruto laughed at her comment. Oh, agreed, but Kami knows what those old fools would do if we weren't there. Last time they married us off to each other. Would hate to see what they did for an encore. Temari swatted him playfully as they exited the house. Please, you act like it was some sort of trouble to marry me. Naruto nodded sagely. You are very troublesome. Temari gave him a smoky look through lidded eyes, causing Naruto's pulse to pick up a bit. You have no idea, she said using the body language lessons Anko had instructed her on to great effect. This was all for now. Thank you for watching, I hope you liked it and that you will be back for more. Please like, share and subscribe. See ya.